This episode contains material that may be triggering to some individuals. Please check the show notes for more information and be mindful of your own mental health and comfort levels. Hey podcasters, are you tired of endlessly searching for the perfect guest for your show? Well, look no further. Podmatch is the ultimate platform for connecting podcast hosts with guests. Whether you're a seasoned podcaster looking for fresh voices or an expert wanting to share your knowledge, Podmatch has got you covered. It's kind of like a dating site for podcasts. With Podmatch's advanced algorithm, finding your perfect match is just a few clicks away. Simply create your profile, specify your interests, and let Podmatch do the rest. You'll be matched with guests or hosts who align with your interests in no time. To get started today, visit www.joinpodmatch.com/Quiet Connection Podcast and start making meaningful connections that will take your podcast to the next level. Welcome back to Quiet Connection, a podcast dedicated to ending the stigma surrounding perinatal mental health. I'm Chelsea. Today, I'm connecting with Lainey, who's a mother, a birth doula, and the founder of Peach State Birth Coalition. After navigating a long journey through a PCOS diagnosis and dismissive medical providers, Lainey pivoted from a planned hospital birth to a transformative home birth. Today, she's channeling that experience into advocacy, fighting to bridge maternal health gaps in Georgia's care deserts. We're talking about the power of birth education, the reality of being a zillennial mom, and why having a doula is the hill I will always die on. Let's get into it. Today, I am here with Lainey. Lainey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's Monday morning as we're recording this. It's not the morning, it's the afternoon. I just did it again.
It
Oh
feels
my God.
like the morning.
That is where my brain is. This is the second time I've done this. I've been like, oh yeah, good. It's so early. No, it's
We're
like
halfway through our
after
day.
lunchtime. We're halfway through the day. Oh my God. If that gives you any indication as to where we are right now, we're momming hardcore.
Yes.
Lainey, I am so excited to get to chat with you today. And rather than just, hit my bullet points, my listeners would so appreciate it if you could introduce yourself, let us know who you are today, and who you were before you became a parent.
Oh gosh.
In another lifetime.
Right. Okay. So my name's Lainey. Currently I am a mom of a little boy who's 2. I'm a wife and I am a nonprofit founder. So I founded a nonprofit here in Georgia called Peach State Birth Coalition. We focus on birth education, maternal health policies, advocating for those because our state quite honestly sucks for that.
Yeah.
And then also just building community for moms. And then I am also a birth doula. That's a little bit more of a newer part of me. It's hard to juggle all 3.
Yeah.
So running off to births is not always the top of the priority right now, but it is definitely a passion of mine. And who I used to be. Oh my gosh.
Way back when.
Right, way back when, which doesn't, it really isn't even that long ago. It was only 2 years ago, but it feels like light years. It's so crazy how in that instance of giving birth, your whole life just changes. I had a lot. I did a lot before I was a mom. Actually, I have had multiple careers. I was a medical assistant for a long time. That's kind of what got me into the healthcare space. And then I left that completely, and I worked in the insurance industry for State Farm.
Oh.
So I was an insurance agent for a while. Me and my husband are big travelers. We've traveled a lot. We love to travel. And we used to go to EDM music festivals a lot.
Wow.
That
That
has
is very
not happened.
specific.
Yeah, it has not happened in a very long time, obviously, because you don't really get to go to concerts at all when you're a parent.
I mean, not especially not EDM concerts.
No,
Can
yeah,
you
they're like
picture your 2-year-old?
oh, yeah. Actually, I feel like in some ways at 3-day music festivals, living off of like one chicken strip that was like, days old, living in a tent for 3 days, not sleeping well with loud sounds all around you is pretty much parenthood. So,
Yeah, that is parenting a toddler.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, in some ways, I feel like it prepared me.
I love that analogy. Oh my god.
And it
Yes.
makes it feel more fun when you're in like not at a fun music festival, when it's just you and your partner at the end of the night and you're just like, wow, today was something.
I mean, yeah, when you're ever in the thick of it and you are eating that leftover dino chicken nugget, you can just throw on some
Some
EDM really
EDM.
loud and
Yep.
pretend, right?
Oh, yeah, they have those great YouTube things, where it's like the live casting of the
Yeah.
festivals. So yeah, I can definitely say we've watched a couple of those, to kind of bring us out of a bad day and be like, yeah, we'll just pretend like we're having fun with our friends. Like,
Hey, that's self-care. That's self-care
right?
right there. Oh my god, I love it. Um, so yeah, you lived many lives
Yeah.
prior to your parenthood journey. There was something you said too that stuck out to me, and of course I lost it now. So if it comes back to me, I'll I'll
It
tell
will.
you. I mean, it probably
Maybe.
won't. My brain
Right.
just works that
In
way.
all honesty, it's gone
There are
forever.
Oh my god, I can't so many times I'll tell you when it happens too, and it's a good thing I edit these myself
There's
because literally I'll be mid-sentence and like
Sometimes it feels
all the
like we need
tabs
to have
close.
multiple selves to do
I
all the
need
things that you do.
I don't
I
yes,
I don't know
please.
how, like, I'm like, "I need, like, 5 of me." Like, is that
Yeah,
possible?
or I need to have like that what is it? That goddess with like the 8 arms or
Oh,
whatever, like
yes, yeah.
but I don't want just the arms. I want
Right, right, right.
just somebody else go do it.
Yeah,
Okay, anyway.
yes. So I can
Oh
be
my god.
napping.
Oh, yes, that's what I want right now.
A lot of nannies.
Yes. Oh my god. Okay, now we're just playing dream life.
Right.
Um, this is the energy I need on a
Yeah,
Monday afternoon, not a Monday morning. It is in
right,
fact an
exactly.
afternoon. So anyway, anyway, you lived lots of different lives, you did lots of different things, which kind of like lends itself pretty perfectly. It's pretty on brand for you to be taking on all of these different roles even in motherhood.
Yeah,
Um, so that's exciting, and we're gonna get into that a little bit more, but I wanna kinda take us down the path to your whole parenthood journey and how it
yeah,
started and how we got to where we are today.
yeah.
So, my least favorite question to ask, but the thing that tells me the most, did you always envision yourself being a mom?
I did.
Yeah.
That has been literally like makes me like have tears come to my eyes. Because my journey has been a long one, even though I'm very young. um,
Yeah?
and or at least maybe I am getting older, but like I feel a lot more younger than I am, but I still feel really young in motherhood.
Age
um,
is age is just a number, I'll tell you. I mean, I'm
yeah.
approaching 40 and I still feel like I'm 15 in my head, so I don't know
Right.
that it ever goes away.
Well, and I have
Um,
so many friends, like, I have so many friends that are a lot older than me who have kids that are so much older and they're done with parenthood. And then I have so many friends who are my age who started having kids a lot younger than me. So they're like so much farther along in their parenthood journey that like I still feel like I'm 21 and I'm not.
yeah. Oh my
Eh,
gosh.
but yeah, I literally always wanted to be a mom. I'm the oldest of 3. I have a brother and a sister, and they are 5 and 10 years younger than me. So I was
Mm.
basically like I literally got in trouble when I was younger because I would just be little mom and like try to parent them and discipline them and all those things. And so I would get in trouble all the like that and talking, which I find so funny now. Because I'm
You
like
talked
now
too much?
Yeah, I
Was
talked
that
too much.
yes.
I
Yeah.
always got in trouble in school, in cheerleading. I was a cheerleader. I would talk on the sidelines and get in trouble. I would get in trouble all the time for talking and for being like very like parenty to my siblings.
This is sounding very familiar. This is an
Right.
eldest child syndrome. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
am the same way.
like
Same way.
sorry, was literally born into it.
I
But
can't help it. Yeah, you
yeah,
can't help
it's
it.
just me.
It's just who
It's
you
just
are.
me. But, so yeah, so I always wanted to be a mom. It was like that was like the forefront of my brain. Went to college. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to help people, and that was like a big piece of me, but like the core was always like, but I want to be a mom. Like I think I always like kind of said that I would want to have like 2 kids, but like I think in my heart I would literally have like a dozen if I could. Like I wanted a big
Wow.
family. I was like, I just want
Yeah.
all the kids, whether I birth them or I adopt it. Like I just want all of them. like,
Oh my
and
gosh.
so that was very interesting when my whole life my family is very very young. Everyone in my family had kids really young, and so it was told to me, like, just wait. Like, I know you want to be a mom so bad, but like, just wait. And I can appreciate that because I watched, everybody in my family struggle with being a teen mom and things. And so I was like, okay, I want to be a mom and I want to do this, the right way, if that's possible.
Whatever that means,
Whatever
right?
that
Yeah.
means. Yeah. But I was like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna, wait until I'm a little older so that way I'm more established or whatever, I was thinking. But what was funny was when me and my husband did get married and we were like, yeah, let's have a kid. Like, let's do this thing. I was on birth control and I was having a lot of issues on birth control. And then once I stopped my birth control, and I literally had to fight with providers. I went to multiple different providers and was just like, something is wrong. Like, I feel wrong in my body. And they were like, no, you're fine. Everything's fine. You're young. You're young. And I'm
Mm.
like, okay, great. Well, something is wrong and I'm going to keep finding. So I literally just kept going to doctor after doctor after doctor. And I finally found somebody who did lab work on me and found out that and did ultrasounds and found out that I have PCOS. And
Mm.
I don't have like one, I being previous medical background, I was like PCOS, like I don't really have like any of the like front facing things that like a lot of PCOS women deal with. And so I was very confused by that. Like, what do you mean? And it's just that my hormones are completely out of whack. And they were like, your levels are all over the board, low and high on different things. And I was like, okay. So I started deep diving into, what that meant, trying to get my body right. Cause I very much was like, okay, I know that being pregnant is a marathon and I want
Mhm.
to be, my best self before I go into this marathon. And at that point we had been trying to have a baby for maybe a year. And, you get the whole, well, you need to try for 12 months before we do anything. And I'm like, okay. So we get to the 12-month mark. And, then they're still kind of like, well, you're still really young. Blah, blah. And, I got married at 22. So I think, this is 23, 24 at this point. So they're still just like, you're really young. You're really young. And I'm like, I'm so tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, just because I'm young doesn't mean that like something isn't wrong in my body. So when I finally got that PCOS diagnosis, my doctor that I was seeing was like, I can give you a medication to kind of force ovulation, and you can be pregnant, in the next couple weeks. But then
Whoa.
it felt like it took the spark away. Like
Yeah.
it felt like it took like making that decision, like I wanted to have that like movie-esque like, "Oh, I'm pregnant and it's such a surprise," and everything, and like it just took like all of that away. Like it went from being this like, oh, fun event with your husband to being like this timed, scheduled workload.
Mhm. It becomes a job.
Yeah, and so that like was really hard on both of us. Then we ended up waiting to take the medicine. And cuz I was like, let me just try to get like my hormones right and maybe it'll just happen. So we waited another like 6 months, I think. And then I was like, okay, let's just let's just do the medicine. Like I started to get like in a really bad headspace with
Mm.
like every month going by and it being like my period shows up or a negative test. And then people around me, we were kind of getting to the age where all of our friends are getting pregnant and stuff like that. And so then it was like, it started like really taking a toll on me. And my husband was like, let's just do the medicine. Why are you waiting? And I was like, cause, and it did feel like a failure. Like I felt like I was like, not like my body wasn't doing the right thing or something.
Mm.
So it was really hard to like take that jump to do the medication, but we did end up doing it. And then the first round of medication was not, it was a bust. So that
Mm.
didn't work. So then that was like even more so like, I was like, okay, we're going to try the medicine one more time. And then like I quit. Like I'm done
Wow.
trying right now. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to like not be so hyper focused on this all the time. Like it was down to like what I ate, what I drank, how much sleep I got, like my basal body
Yeah.
temperature. Like,
Yeah.
so I was like, I am so over this. Like, I just want to, not think about it anymore. So we did the second round and I was like in full disbelief. Like, I was like, I feel completely normal still. I don't feel like anything has changed. It's whatever. So we planned a trip to go to the casino.
Why
and
not gamble?
Right, yeah, and so, before we left was when I was supposed to take the test, and so I was like, "Should I take it before or should I take it after?" Like, should I take it before and then it potentially be negative and it maybe ruin our trip, like, I'll be upset the whole time, or do I wait until after, but what if it's positive and then I drink? Then I'll feel bad. so
Yeah.
he was like, just take it. Like, just take it. So I woke up at like 6:30 in the morning, which I don't usually wake up that early, but I was like so anxious that I woke up crazy early and it has to be your first pee and everything. I
Mhm.
take the test and it is like positive as all get out. And I was literally like, what? It worked?
Yeah.
Like, I, like, bust through the door, and he's, like, half asleep, and I was literally like, "It's positive," and he literally, to this day, is like, "I hate the way you told me you were pregnant with him," and I'm like he was like, "I wish you could have at least just waited until I was, like, awake."
Are you kidding me? You wanted to, like, scream it to the
I
world.
know, and he was like, "I'm so excited," and he was like, "But I also, like, almost crapped my pants because I didn't know why you were screaming at six
Oh
o'clock in
my
the
god.
morning." And so I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
god.
yeah. I probably could have done a little bit more of a gentler approach while you were, like, dead asleep."
Oh my god, the mental
But
image.
I
Ugh.
know, yeah. It was very so, of course, that was, like it was crazy, like, it was and my pregnancy after that was great. I did take progesterone, make sure everything was okay since my levels are a little crazy. But other than that, like, I ended up having an amazing pregnancy, and then at 28 weeks, I decided to my doctor that I was seeing, she, like, left the practice, and I got, like, I literally got a letter in the mail, and that was it.
Oh my
So,
god.
I'm like and she was the one that, like, finally listened to me, she was the one that, like, actually, like, made me feel seen and heard, and so I was, like, so excited to, like, actually find a provider like that because it's so rare, and then I get this letter in the mail that she's, like, not gonna be there anymore, and I go to my next appointment, and it's, like, this other doctor, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, like, I brought my birth plan and I wanted to go over it." And she, like, chuckled at me and said, "Oh, we already do all those things that you guys want." And I was like, "Who's you guys?" I
Yeah.
was
What?
like, "There's nobody else
What?
in this room but me." So, I was like, "I'm very confused at what you mean." And she was like, "I mean, we already do delayed cord clamping." And I was like, "Congratulations." Like, that's not all I wanted to talk about. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot more to a birth plan than just delayed cord clamping.
How invalidating. And
Yeah, and
how,
so
like, that's so impersonal.
it
Like,
was awful, and I was just like, I don't like, I left that appointment, and of course, I'm, like, pregnant, hormonal, crying my eyes out, and I was like, "I don't know what to do," so I called my husband, and I was like, "I am so terrified. Like, I'm terrified that now I'm going to end up with a provider who has no idea who I am, who doesn't care about, like I'm just going to fall into the system, like what normally happens. And I was like, I wanted to have an unmedicated birth. I wanted to try to achieve all of those things. And I was like, I just don't see how that's possible with especially this provider. Like she's not even
Yeah.
listening to anything. And so he like jokingly was like, well, why don't you just have the baby at home like you always talk about? And I was like, I don't know how to like actually achieve that though. And he was like, well, you always talk about it. And I did. Like, I am that like friend that everybody says is like the little flower child that was born in the wrong decade. That like I would always be like on my bucket list, I want to have my baby in a pool in my living room. Like
Yeah.
that was like all like always what I talked about. But I didn't know how to like actually do that. And so he was like, well, my mom's friend did it. And why don't you ask her? I was like, I don't know her. He was like, okay, well, let me call my mom. And I literally in the parking lot went from having no idea what I was going to do to being on the phone with my husband, then on the phone with his mom, then doing a four-way call with this lady I don't know. And she was like, "You wanna do a home birth? Oh my god, yes! Like, let's do it. Let me call my midwife."
I
And
was
then,
just
like
gonna say, was she a doula? Was she a
no,
midwife?
she just was a client, but she
Oh,
had a
okay.
midwife. Yeah, and so
Okay.
she was like, "Let me call my midwife, and if she doesn't have any place, I'm sure we can find another midwife, like, we'll work this out." And I'm like, "I'm 28 weeks pregnant."
We're running out of time.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know, like, what I'm doing. And so, in literally the next day, she was like, "My midwife has an opening for February." And I was like, Okay. All right. I guess I'm doing this." And she's like, "Can you go do a consultation with her next week?" And I was like, "Sure."
Why not? Sure.
Like, it moved so quickly. Like, it was like whiplash. And so I went to my first appointment with my midwife, and it was just I just cannot even like that first appointment like gives me chills just even thinking about it because walking in and like it being such a warm environment and it's literally a couch. It was like the winter time, so she has it all set up in like her basement.
Mhm.
She has this cute little couch and she has a wood burning like stove to heat the basement because she lives in like an older home. And she had like all these cute little like uh plushies of uteruses and
Oh my god.
and like all these, just cute little things everywhere. And she has a dry erase board that has all the babies that are born in that year and their weight and their names and everything. And it was just so inviting. And then I literally sit down with her, and she had two students at the time. And we literally sat there for like an hour and they just talked about themselves, about me, and just like learning each other like as a relationship, not just like all right, heart rate is this. All right, have any questions? Okay, bye.
Ugh.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we're all
and
very familiar with that
yes.
process.
And so it was just like I had never, ever been in any type of patient provider space where I had, like, felt so, like, seen and heard about, like, not e like, we weren't didn't even talk about, like, birth the whole time. Like, she had chickens, and I was like, "Oh, I have chickens," and, like, we were talking about chickens. So, like, just, like, learning each other on, like, a relationship, friendship kind of way. And I left, and I literally, like, I called my mom, I called my husband, I called my mother-in-law, and I was just like, "This is everything." And everybody was, like, kinda freaked out because nobody in my family, nobody that I knew other than the friend of the of my mother-in-law had ever given birth at home. And my mom was like, "I have a lot of questions." And I was like, "Okay, well, give them to me and I'll ask her and get the answers for you." And she was able to answer all of them. She had, it had an exact answer for every concern that my mom had, every concern that my husband had, and any concerns that had come up for me. But I was like fully sold.
Yeah, sounds like
um,
it.
and so it was just so the care, like from the beginning of my pregnancy to the end, was just so different. Like she would do like belly mapping and like tell me where all the parts of him were, and without even using an ultrasound, like literally just using her hands, which was so cool to me. And I'm like, when I talk to other women who like haven't gone with a home birth provider, they're like, doing what? She did what? Like, and I'm like, belly mapping? Like, I don't know. Like, I thought that
Yeah.
that was normal. And they're like, I mean, yeah, they like touch around on my belly some, but like, I'm like, no, it's like a full, like, it's a full thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
feel like they're just very hands on in that way. But then also at the birth, so hands off, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Like, it's not what I or anybody had expected, but it was like exactly what I needed. Like, their presence is so calming, and like they come into the room and like you feel like that sense of like security that somebody who knows what's going on is here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like they come in just like so peacefully and quietly, and like they do exactly what they need to do in that moment. Usually just listen to the heart rate, make sure everything's good. And then they're like, "Do you need anything?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And they're like, "All right, I'll be back."
Cool.
And then they just like I literally feel like they were just like floating in and out of the room, like, like compared to when now being in like I haven't given birth in the hospital, but I've been in the hospital space with clients, and like, it's like the bang of the door and the smack of the curtain and the hey, how we doing? Like,
Yup.
and you're like, and they're like on the phone with somebody, in another department, and then they're like on the computer, and you're
It's
like,
just all overstimulation.
yeah, it's overstimulating for me as like just a person being
Mhm.
in there. So I'm like, I just for me, I could not imagine giving birth anywhere else but at home. I know that not everybody feels safe at home, but it was everything that I could have dreamed of. Thankfully, my birth went very well, and I didn't have any issues. I had a very fast labor for first time mom.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so yeah, I had my son, and I think it was like right at 9 hours. So it was
Wow.
very fast.
From
So
start to finish, from, like, first
yeah.
contractions to delivery.
So first contractions that I recognized,
Yeah.
yes, but I think I
Wow.
was having them like earlier in the day. But I think I just was like not realizing that's what it was.
Yeah.
But like once they got like rhythmic enough for me to be like, I think that's something.
Something's happening.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was about like around like 11 or 12, like midnight. And then he was born at 2 o'clock the next day.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you get the water birth? Like, where was it in?
Yes.
Yeah, so you
Yes,
got
I did get the water birth.
exactly.
We did decide to do it in the bedroom instead of the living room, just because they were like, "You're gonna want to be, like, more, like you wanna be, like, cozy when
Cozy.
you're in
Yep.
birth, when you're giving, birth, like, you wanna be, like, cozy and, like, feel warm." And she was like, "You need to be close to a bathroom."
Mm.
And so I was like, "True, true." And I didn't wanna have to waddle down my whole, hallway. So
Makes
we just
sense.
decided to do it in the bedroom, which honestly was like so cool too, though, because like I literally had him in the birthing pool, was able to get out of the birthing pool, step right in over and get in bed, and
Oh,
literally get to lay in bed with my newborn. And my husband, who looks like he just went through war, and like, and I'm
of
like,
course.
and he's like, "I'm exhausted," and I'm like, "I bet you are."
Oh my god. The audacity of that
I
man.
know.
No.
He's so silly. He just likes to play with me. But he was like,
I'm
"I'm
just
just."
kidding too. I'm
Yeah.
sure
He's
I'm
like
sure it was stressful.
he was like, "That would," and he was also very upset because he wanted to catch the baby, and
Oh.
like, they told me, they were like, "Okay, you're doing so good. Do like 5 more hard pushes like that." And I literally was like, "No, I'm done. This is the last one." And they like thought that I was, just being like, sick of doing it. But no, I pushed him out on that one, and nobody was ready for him to come out.
Whoops.
So I just like grabbed him.
Oh my god.
And so my husband was like, "Whoa, I didn't know he was coming out then." Like so they were like ready, but not like fully ready for him to come out. So then I just kind of like grabbed him and like hulked him out the water.
The visuals, Lainey, the visuals in this episode.
I
Oh
actually have
my
some great video or have great video and photo, which of course my husband is like, let's not like, cause I do post like some of my photos, for the nonprofit or for my doula page, like I'll use them. Um, but they're obviously pretty explicit. And he's like, I really don't know if that's the best thing to be on social media.
I mean, I don't know. It's 100% up to
Yeah.
you and your preference, but
Yeah.
I feel like there is becoming space for that. There's
There
becoming
is,
space
yeah,
for
there is,
because it's
and, like, for me personally, like, I do wish that I had better photos and videos. They're, like, really grainy and, like, shaky because it was, like, my doula who was trying to, like, also help me and, like, they're, like everybody's kinda moving around and stuff when he came out because they weren't expecting it. So, like, it's
yeah.
kinda like everybody's, like, kinda moving a little quickly, so they're not, like, the best photos and videos, but, like, I even look back at them and I'm like, this is so cool. Like,
Yeah, like you
it
did
feels
that.
yeah, and that's literally when I pulled him out, I remember looking up and it's almost like you come out of, like, this other place, and I literally just looked up and I saw my mom and my mother-in-law, and I said, "Where's the baby?" And they said, "You're holding him." And then I literally they were like, "You can sit back now," because I was, like, kinda, like, squatted up, and they're like, "You can sit back now," and I, like, sat back and I was like, "I did it. I did it."
Yeah, that moment of realization, right? You're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I
oh yeah,
freaking
I
did
did
it.
that. I did
Yes.
that."
Yeah, it was an incredible high, I will say. Some of, like, my girlfriends that I've met, like, through the home birthing community, like, we've even said, like, when you do birth, like, in that way, it is almost like an addicting high.
Mm.
You're like, even though yes, birth is so painful, like it is, like, do not get me wrong, but at the same time, like, it was so cool, and I think I'm just so fascinated by like, I could nerd out on some, like, anatomy and physiology stuff, so I'm like, I don't know if it's just that, like, I, like, was, like, literally, like, nerding out while simultaneously giving birth because I knew what was, like, happening, and that's, like, cool to me. I know where some people could be, like, really grossed out by that, but I was
No,
like,
I think it's
"No."
very cool.
It was so cool. So, for me, it was, like, really, really cool to, like, feel the movement. Like, I know that, like, the baby turned, so, like, I could literally feel him turn, which was really cool to me because 'cause I'm like, "Okay," like, I knew in my head, like, "Okay, I felt the turn, I felt him go down, like, he's gonna come out soon."
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed it while also both being in a lot of pain.
Yeah. I I love that you acknowledge both.
Yeah.
I also
The
like
Ring of Fire is no joke.
oh my
Don't get me
god,
wrong.
it is real. It is real, and the Ring of Fire
Yeah.
I don't know if because I had an epidural and then a C-section for my second vaginal for my first, C-section for my second, but even with a even with an epidural, Ring
Yes,
of
they will tell
Fire
you.
is
Yeah,
real.
yep,
They're like,
yep.
"That's not gonna stop that. You're
Nope,
gonna feel
it
that."
doesn't. Yep.
Um, all that
Everybody
is
gets the Ring of Fire unless it's a
woo!
C-section.
Unless it's a C-section, and then it's a whole different ball
Yeah,
game.
right, exactly. Exactly.
Um, like, all of that aside, though, like, there's so much to your journey that it really encompasses that duality that I like to talk about a lot. So,
Mhm.
like you said, you always envisioned yourself having kids. You wanted kids. You wanted all the kids. And
Mhm.
then the emotional toll and the psychological toll of it not happening in the way that you envisioned it happening, while simultaneously being dismissed by
Mm.
doctors, which people who are born female are just accustomed to.
Yeah,
Doctors
unfortunately.
just saying, "You're young," or
Mhm.
"Drink more
Or
water."
or just take birth control. But I'm trying to
Yes.
get pregnant. That doesn't make sense.
Right, right, and especially with PCOS too, again, I've learned a lot about it, and I like I said, I'm 37, I'm in my late 30s. I didn't
Mhm.
know all I thought PCOS was just that you got, like, cysts,
Right.
and that was it, and that is so not even close to
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I thought that, like, when they told me I had it, I was like, "That doesn't make sense." I thought that people with PCOS had issues with being overweight, and
Mhm.
I mean, and now that I have fixed a lot of those things, I have lost a lot of weight, but like, it wasn't what I thought, and, like, I don't have, like, the male hair patterns. I don't have
Mhm.
that, so I was like, "I'm confused, like, I don't have any of these things, so how could I have PCOS?" And they're like, "Well," then it, like, opened the can of worms of what PCOS is, and there's so much, like, there's so many different things that it can affect.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then, like, I mean, I'm kind of summarizing, but the points that I wanna, like, emphasize are it wasn't an easy process for you, and it must have I'm not gonna assume, but it must have taken such a toll on this vision that you had of yourself, especially like you said, like, your family around you were this is gonna seem like a horrible term, but my family is the same way, and they call
Fertile
themselves all
Myrtle.
fertile myrtle. Yes! Yes! My family is the same way. We said
Yes.
they're all just fertile
Yep.
myrtles.
Fertile Myrtle. Everybody's Fertile Myrtle. Everybody, I was literally told, like, as soon as I feel like as soon as I could even, be, a normal conversation, obviously not like a little kid, but like as soon as I was in like middle school, and that was like, when your parents start talking to you about those things, like they're like, oh, you need to be on birth control. Like, I got on birth control when I was 14. Was I
Yeah.
having sex at 14? No. But like, my mom didn't know, and my mom just was trying to, she was trying to break the cycle.
Mhm.
Obviously, like, she's even when I found out that I had PCOS, she was like, "Did I do this to you? Was it because I put you on birth control?" And I'm like, "No, mom, like, it's, like, honestly, the birth control probably helped for at some point, but then it was masking so much that I didn't know about it, so then I couldn't do the right things to get my body ready." And so, yeah, would I probably ended up on birth control regardless? Yeah. Was it probably a smart thing, once I did get older, that I was on birth control? Yeah, it was, because that would have been bad. But but,
But I think it's the first time that I've ever used that term on the podcast, but, like, I'm
yes.
just seeing the mirroring so much, like, that's yeah, all the
And
women
that's
on
what
my
I
side of the
assumed.
family. Right,
Mhm.
and that's what you assume, you're like, "Okay." And there is this thing, like, we're not taught when we're in middle school and we're in high school and we're going through sex education. I don't even know what it's like down south. I'm in the Northeast, so we're much more liberal, but still, it's like,
Mhm.
you have sex, you're gonna get pregnant, so don't have
Yeah,
sex.
yeah, basically.
Right? And don't get an STD,
Or you're gonna get
and
an STD, and they show you, like,
all the
craziness.
things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all the things, and then they're just like, "Alright, good luck.
Yeah, have
Bye."
fun, bye.
Yeah,
Put all this in
don't
the back of your
die,
yeah, don't die, don't do drugs, don't
don't
get
do
an
drugs, don't
STD,
have
and
sex.
don't get pregnant, don't have
Yeah,
sex. The
yeah,
end.
basically.
But and then when you realize, like, "Okay, well, that's not what's happening for me,
Right,
what the heck is that all about?"
right.
And then to take it further, when you finally do get pregnant and you find a provider that listens to you, and then you lose that provider.
Yeah, and I have no idea where she went.
I know this'll be one of those, like, "Where are they now?" Like,
Yes,
Hello,
and I
Lainey's
honestly, at this
provider, where did
point,
you
forgot
go?"
her name, like, I don't even remember what her name was. She was a nurse midwife, I do remember that. She was a nurse midwife, but I don't even remember her name at this point.
Yeah, but
But
it led you to this entire other side of the birth realm that
yeah,
you didn't even know existed, and
yeah.
now is, like, your life.
It is my life, and through that, I found out, like, because when I met with my midwife, she had to explain to me, explicitly that she did go to school to be a midwife. She, has all these credentials. She continues to do education even to this day. I work very, very close with her now with my organization. But she, is giving me all of these credentials, which I've never walked into a doctor's office and they've even told me where they went to school, because I guess they
Right.
just don't, they assume that it doesn't matter. But told me where she went to school and all these credentials and everything. And she was like, but the state of Georgia does not recognize any of this, and I am not licensed in this state because it is illegal for me to be licensed in the state of Georgia. Is that okay with you? And I was like,
Wow.
I don't care if you're a Martian from another planet. You are better than any provider that I've ever had, ever. And I can't imagine having birth and having anybody else be my provider.
Talk
And
to me
so
about that a little bit. Why is that? Why is she
yeah.
not able to be licensed in Georgia?
So that's kind of like where the wheels slowly started turning because I was like, "What?" But then I'm, at the end of my pregnancy and like trying to have a baby and everything.
Yeah,
So
you had other things on your mind.
yeah, I had other things on my plate. So I kind of was just like, that's odd. And like, it was kind of like in the back of my mind, but obviously was like, okay, cool, gonna have this baby, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward to like about like 9 months postpartum with my son. My midwife, there's a group called, NACPM, that's like the national CPM organization, and then there's state organizations. So the Georgia NACPM was doing like a little um, like Zoom meetup for home birthing clients or everybody's clients. And so I was like, oh, cool. Like, I haven't had any adult human connection in a while. Let me hop on a Zoom. And so I like hop on the Zoom, and they were talking about how we don't have midwife licensure here in the state of Georgia. So, nurse midwives can be licensed here in the state of Georgia, but any other midwifery track, so like CPMs, traditional midwives, any of that, they are not licensed and are technically illegal in the state of Georgia. It's not illegal to have a home birth, but it is illegal to have a midwife present at a home birth.
Which
Yeah,
makes no sense.
make that make sense, Georgia.
Yeah.
um yeah, so it didn't really make a lot of sense to me, and I was like, "What? Like, why? What can we do about this?" And she was, talking about how Georgia NACPM and some of the other midwife organizations they were at that time creating a bill that was gonna go into the House of Representatives, and they were trying to raise money for lobbyists and doing all this stuff at the Capitol building. And so she said, what we would really love to have is like a consumer group. And I was like, okay. I'm just listening at this point. My kid's like being, a baby. And I'm just like on mute, listening. And she's like, I need somebody who is like, like a strong leader, not afraid to talk to anybody, wants to get the word out and like really cares about this. And just something in me, I unmuted and I was like, that kind of sounds like me. And she was like, okay, Lainey, I'll send you an email after this. And I was like, okay, like having no clue what that meant. And literally hopping on that meeting and then like getting more connected with her is what started Peach Day Birth Coalition and really opened like kind of my eyes to not just that, but there's so many gaps in Georgia. We are one of the worst states for birthing moms. Like it's awful. Our stats are horrible, and it's so disheartening because I feel like a lot of the times when when you're not a mom yet and you're just thinking or dreaming about being a mom one day, you don't think like, oh, I live in one of the states that it is the most dangerous to give birth in,
Yeah.
especially for Black and brown women, which is so scary. Like,
Mhm.
no one should go into a hospital and wonder, like, am I going to come out of here with my baby, or is my baby going to be going out by itself or with its dad, or, who knows?
Or are neither of us coming out
Or
of
not.
here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, I started working with Georgia NACPM, and kind of just learning more. And then for Peach State as a whole, I was like, okay, a lot of people have a weird taste in their mouth about home birth here in the South. I don't really know why. Like, literally, our tagline is to each their peach. Do what you want.
I had
Um,
no idea. I love that. Oh my
yeah,
god.
like and my organization is not to sit here and tell people like home birth is the way to go.
Mhm.
Um, Home birth is the way to go if that's where you feel comfortable.
Mhm.
And for the women who feel comfortable at home, we deserve the right to choose home birth, just like if somebody wants to choose a birth center or choose a hospital. And so it's not necessarily saying that home birth is this end all for every woman. It's just saying that, like, this choice has been taken away for a really long time. And it's actually what women have been doing for however long we've been here.
Yeah. I mean, pre-hospital, the hospitals
Yeah,
haven't been around that
that long.
long in terms of the
Right.
existence of humans.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
And that doesn't take away from the fact that childbirth is dangerous. Childbirth
Right.
like, pregnancy and childbirth is not
Yes.
a health neutral state whatsoever.
No. Yeah.
Um, but just like you're saying, like, the choice
Yeah.
should be yours.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, midwives are not going to take on, you know, a high risk client.
Mhm.
So, like, but even just having the choice of like, oh, I think I would be interested in home birth. Let me, find out more information about it. It's literally like an underground drug ring trying to find midwives in the state of Georgia because they have to be hush hush because they're getting cease and desist orders. They have to be, changing their names on social media so that people
Mm.
can't find them. They have to have their websites, their websites are always like kind of weirdly worded to not say that they're a midwife. And
Yeah.
so people who are not in this realm or are new to this realm of birth work and home birth, they're very like, this is kind of weird, like, I don't know and then it's like, it starts to get like, well, I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know if I feel comfortable. So I'm just going to go with the hospital. And then they're not getting to actually choose what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a weird time in this and it's been like this for a really long time. A lot of the midwives, they've been working on this legislative stuff for 10 years. And there were
Wow.
midwives before them that were working on it for years before. So it's been kind of a long process. But within this last year, we have had a lot of, people actually listening, meetings and things at the Capitol building with legislators who are actually starting to be like, okay, I kind of see it. Like, I see it. I get it.
Mhm.
I see how midwives, could also bridge the gaps here in Georgia. We have a lot of maternity care deserts. I mean, we have
Mm.
huge areas that are up in like the North Georgia area or the South Georgia area, if you're not like kind of in that big city vicinities, you might drive 2 hours to get to a hospital.
Mm.
And you don't always have 2 hours to get to a hospital.
No.
I mean, even sometimes first time moms don't realize that they're in labor, or if you're a fourth or fifth time mom, that baby might be coming out. And so,
Yeah.
like, what are you supposed to do? Get a hotel room at
That was exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, do you just, like, be like, "Okay,
stay in a hotel for the
it's close to my due date, I guess I'll book a hotel stay."
yeah, or
Like,
go
and
stay
you
in
can and what if you can't
Airbnb.
afford that? You can't
What
afford
if you have
that
more
or
kids? Like,
Yes.
so
Yes.
yeah, it's like, what are they supposed to do? And midwives in the area, could be able to come and kind of triage and assess and make sure, like, okay, yeah, it's safe for you to travel, the 2 hours, or, travel with them even in the
Yeah.
car so that they have somebody there with them. So there's so many other ways that midwives can help that it's not just about home births. Midwives can also do GYN care
Mhm.
for all these women who live in these areas that have no OBs and or no L&D, or so there's just so many other things that Georgia could really benefit from it. And I think that people are kind of starting to see that because we finally got 3 birth centers because one just opened in Atlanta sometime this past year. I don't remember exactly when it opened. And then they decided to close down the one in Savannah. So
Mm.
now we only have 2 birth centers and they're in Atlanta.
Yeah, in the
And
biggest
like our
city, right?
state
Like,
and
yeah.
our state is, I mean, you can drive for 4 hours in Georgia and never leave the state.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I
it's
know.
like
When I
it's so
when we
crazy.
make our trek down the East Coast to go to Florida, we're always like, "Oh god, we're going through Georgia. Okay,
It's
hold on."
so
Like,
long.
it's
I mean,
so long.
obviously Florida is much longer than us, but it's still
Well,
a really
yes,
long
but
state.
it
Yeah, like
is. It takes for New York and Georgia are always we're
yeah.
like, "Oh my god, we're gonna be in New York forever. Oh my god, we're gonna be in Georgia
Yes.
forever."
Well, and then our traffic sucks too, so that doesn't help.
But yeah, but like what you're saying though, especially when talking about these birthing centers, is with these maternal health care like deserts.
Mhm.
Yes, that's great that you have birthing centers, but they're not where they need to
They're
be.
not accessible. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, they are for people who live in Atlanta,
Right. Right, but
but like
not
I mean, for me, like I live I mean, what I feel like is like feels far out, but like really isn't that far from Atlanta. I could probably get to Atlanta if there's not crazy traffic, anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Mhm.
Um, but like I mean, if you're in North Georgia, you're not getting like, or even South Georgia, you're not getting to Atlanta. Like, you're not, that's not a possibility for you. So a birth center is out of the question. So people are like, oh, you have so many options: hospital, birth center, home birth. And it's like, okay, well, home birth is, you can have a home birth, but you can't have a, or you technically aren't supposed to have a midwife present. So then that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable that either they have to choose free birthing, which not everybody is comfortable with, or you have to choose to have a midwife with you. And then some people aren't comfortable with having a midwife who's not licensed.
Mhm.
And so that's an issue. And then it's like, oh, well, you could do a birth center birth, but there's only two birth centers and they're in Atlanta and you live in Macon. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so you're screwed. So then your only option is to go to the hospital, and then, I mean, considering that there's only so many hospitals and all of these women all over the state of Georgia in these maternity care deserts, there's women traveling, there's all the women that live right there in the area that this hospital or OB is at. And then there's women traveling 2 hours all over to come there because that's the closest one. So now this
Yeah.
doctor's overflowed and they're, seeing 40 plus patients in a day, which is insane.
It's so I'm so glad that you're talking about it because even like these are stats and things that I know, but up until like even even this conversation, they were just stats for me.
Mhm.
Like I knew the numbers. I know that
Yeah,
Georgia always ranks like
lowest.
so low. I think Alabama is the lowest
Yeah,
of
I think so
of
too,
all
maybe,
the
I'm not sure.
states,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. But like Georgia and Alabama and a lot of the southern states, always through
yeah.
March of Dimes, like
Mhm,
so. But these were just numbers to me, and to
mhm.
hear so I like I said, I live in the Northeast. I'm up in Vermont. Midwifery is an everyday thing here. We have
Yep.
midwives, we have doulas. We even have like legislation for Medicare to cover doulas.
Right. That's something that we're also, like, kind of just looking into and seeing if that's, like, a potential thing. Something that Peach State as a whole is trying to figure out as well, since we don't have that and we have so many people in these rural communities who don't have a lot of money and don't have the money to afford something like a doula or a midwife. So Peach State is wanting to try to start doing, like, sponsorships. So
mm,
we're going to try to find funding from private funders and things like that, so that way we can offer these moms the option, to have a doula when they probably couldn't afford it because they're on Medicaid or something like that.
yeah.
Until hopefully we can, hopefully our legislators can figure something out to help.
Bridge the freaking gap.
Yeah, yeah, so
Yeah.
it's so crazy, and that's what, like, a lot of us here in the state of Georgia are like, there's a lot of states where midwifery is there's only 13 states where midwifery isn't legal. So
Yeah.
every other state, it's legal, they're practicing, they're living life and doing everything as normal, it's just a normal everyday thing, and we're like, "We don't understand why it's different here." Like,
Well, that's why I brought it up at all because even as you were telling your story of meeting your midwife, to me in my mind, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a beautiful story of how you met your midwife and how you had this home birth." But it's so much more complex than that. And
mhm,
I think for a lot of people who don't live in states where you have these barriers,
yeah. I
it
was
isn't real
incredibly
until you hear
lucky.
it, right?
Yeah.
It isn't real until you hear it.
Yeah, and I was incredibly lucky to happen to know somebody who knew a midwife, because otherwise, like, if you go on Google or something, like, there's no way to just find midwives. Like, you have to know somebody who knows a Facebook group, who posts in the Facebook group and hope that somebody drops a midwife in there, and you have to know the right Facebook group for people to actually put accurate names. So it's like
Yeah.
there's like, if you don't know all of those steps, or you don't know somebody, or you're not like immersing yourself in the community and finding all these people, then it can be really hard to find midwives. And then it's like it's very discouraging. And then there's only so many midwives in the whole state of Georgia, and so then they fill up really quickly. And
Yeah.
then if they don't have any spots, I mean, now they all have, like, the biggest hearts in the world, so I feel like it's very rare that I have somebody say that, like, "Oh, yeah, I reached out to that midwife and she didn't have a spot for me,"
Yeah.
because 'cause they'll just work themselves silly and see as many moms as they can, but it shouldn't be that way because they're humans too and they're moms too. You
Yeah.
I think pretty much all of them, at least the ones that I know, are also moms or grandmas or, they maybe their kids are older, but they're still moms and they
Yeah.
still have want to go to the holidays or be there on their kid's birthday. And a lot of them miss a lot of that stuff because they're at births helping other moms become moms.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm blown away because even I feel like it was a curveball for me. Like, and I kind of knew going into this. Like, I knew what Peach State was all about. I know what you
Yeah.
do, but even it just isn't something that's in my realm of thought because it doesn't make
Right.
sense. As much as it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I do love that you also acknowledge and that your organization acknowledges and supports birthing in a way that feels safe, whether that
Mhm.
mean like, you're gonna support people, whether that means birthing in a hospital, whether that
Mhm.
means birthing at home, because that is a choice that you should have unless it is a medical emergency or a high-risk
Right.
pregnancy,
Right.
um, so I'm right on board with you, and I think as empathetic human beings, you can't really argue against that, like, you want people
Right.
to feel safe.
Yeah.
Um, so to kind of, like, wrap us back around a little bit, I think if you could sort of sum up because your journey, I feel like we barely glossed over, and I
Yeah.
feel like there's so much more there, but the passion that you have for the work that you're doing, I feel it. I feel it, and I want others to feel it, and I'm sure they do, but if you had to kind of, like, sum up what you're doing and what's most important to your mission right now, how do you think like, what would your, like, little blurb be about Peach
Yeah.
State?
Yeah, so we recently kind of like reconvened and tried to figure out like, okay, what is a tangible thing that we can do to start making change here in the state? Because unfortunately, that bill that the midwives had written, it got thrown out this session. It did not get pulled for vote, even though we had over 100 people reach out to the legislator who was in charge of that in the matter of like a couple hours. Like we
Yeah.
threw stuff out there and like, hey, reach out and try to get our bill pulled for vote, and they flooded and which is amazing and just like feels like really good to know that there's all those people that really want this, but unfortunately the bill did not get chosen, so that means we have to wait until next session to kind of they're going to have to rewrite a new bill, and kind of like restart. And so me and my board met up and we were like, okay, what can we do that's like a tangible thing to start making change? And fortunately enough for me, it just so happens that me and both of my board members that I currently have are doulas. So I was like, I feel like the biggest thing that made a difference for me in my labor as a first time mom was that I had really good birth education. And my vice president, she actually saw that in her own clients over the last couple of years. The first year, she said that she did not make birth education a requirement. The second year, she did make it a requirement, and she saw drastic changes in her C section rates, in her unmedicated rates, and things like that. And so I was like, okay, well, we're all doulas and education is a good thing that we could kind of explain to people like, hey, this is what we're doing so that we can hopefully get funding for it as well.
Yeah.
Um and so I was like, okay, let's do that then. So right now our big focus is trying to have free birth education classes that are done by doulas, and we are hoping to right now we're just trying to find locations for them. Living out in a little bit more of like a rural area, there's not like a ton of event space.
Yeah.
We have a coffee shop that is nearby, that's slightly large enough for something like that, but we want it to feel homey. So we're trying to work with maybe some of like the counselors in the area who have a little bit larger of a space, who have a little bit more of that like homey space feel. Because we don't want it to feel like a gym class sex ed.
Yeah.
Like, we want
No.
it to feel like you're learning about like a life-changing event that's going to happen to you and something that, so that they can feel empowered and feel like they are going into this and know what's going to happen to them, what questions to ask, what they can say yes and no to, their rights as a birthing mom. And so we want to be able to do that. kind of specifically in like an area where I live and the other areas that are these maternity care deserts and lower income areas, because most moms who, are on Medicaid or don't have the money for, a $500 birth education course that somebody's selling online or something like
Yeah.
that. And so that's kind of our goal right now, is to kind of get that started. It's probably going to start here in our county for right now, just where I am, just because that's easier for me to get to,
Yeah.
and easier for me to find connections, with friends and family who are in the area. But our hope is one day that we can expand it and we can have free birth education classes over the state of Georgia. And so that moms can actually getting good education before they go into birth, and they know what's going on. Because I've met people who didn't even know that they had a placenta.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just not like what I think is common knowledge is not
Mhm.
always common knowledge. It's not, something that people know. So, that's kind of like our big like thing that we're working on right now. And then obviously trying to make doulas and midwives more accessible to women as well. It is just hard with the midwives, because it is so hush hush. We don't want to put anybody's name out there and then them
Right.
get in trouble.
Right.
So it is a little bit easier to kind of start with the doula front, because it's like, okay, well, if you can get connected with a doula, most doulas are connected with midwives. And then, you can kind of like work the system backwards.
Yeah.
And if you choose to have a hospital birth or a birth center birth, doulas are an amazing tool. Like, I am so thankful every day for my doula. Like, I don't know what I would have done without her. And now being one and like having clients say the same thing to me, like it like warms my heart.
It's
um
I always say, so Quiet Connection, like, we don't promote things, we don't push things, we are a no judgment place, but the hill that I will die on is that we love a doula. I did
yeah,
not have doulas for either of my births because I didn't even know what a doula was.
right.
The most I knew about a doula was from Gilmore Girls, and because I am an elder millennial and they just I thought it was all like crunchy granola, hippie,
Yeah.
like, yeah, and it's not what it is. But learning about doulas, working with doulas, talking to doulas, that is the
Yeah.
one thing I will say is please learn about doulas. Please get in touch with
Yes.
a doula.
Yes.
Um,
And that's what we started like doing. We try to do it a couple times a month, but me and usually at least my vice president, we go to the local coffee shop and we post it on Instagram, and we're just like, if you're a mom, if you're a birth worker, if you're somebody who's interested in birth work or is interested in becoming a mom, like, we're just going to be at the coffee shop having coffee, chit-chatting. Come talk to a doula. Like, come pick our
yes.
brains.
Oh,
Because it's so hard to like, I feel like some people are like scared to ask questions or like scared to talk. And the DMs or whatever. So I feel like it's just making it like accessible. And that's why I love the idea of like doulas being the ones who are doing these birth education classes, because not only are they getting good birth education, but then they're also learning like what a doula is.
mhm.
And maybe it wouldn't be like so scary, or maybe it wouldn't. I don't know if it's that like people are like scared of doulas. I think it's that they're just like, I don't understand what the purpose is.
Exactly. I don't think that people know I don't think
Yeah.
enough people know what a doula is.
Right.
Um, and we've had doulas on the podcast before, and I'm really hoping that that changes. I hope that
Yeah.
this is a step towards that, and that's why I love that
Right.
you're doing this so much. I'm gonna bring us home
Yeah.
because I could talk doulas and I could talk birth and I could talk all of this stuff all day, but
Same.
I actually can't in real life because 'cause I'm a mom.
I feel
Um,
that.
and
I know.
I have responsibilities.
Unfortunately. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no, I mean,
Responsibilities.
responsibilities, I don't
I
want
know.
them.
No.
Um,
Laundry,
ugh,
vacuuming, don't wanna do any
laundry,
of it.
the oldest is gonna get off the bus here any minute,
Yeah.
and
Oh
then
gosh.
I have to, yeah, turn it all back on, and the
Yep.
three-year-old, and whoo, all the
Yep.
things.
Yep.
Anyway, so, um, we're doing things we're doing this kind of experiment with how we end the episodes now,
Yeah.
and it's a little woo-woo, but bear with me.
I love it.
So we're bringing it back to the days of there was no texting. There was no, like, if you wanted to get a hold of somebody and they weren't there, you either had to hope their parents didn't answer the phone or you had to leave a message on the answering machine.
Yes.
And maybe you're too young to remember those days, but I remember them
I
very well.
No, I do slightly. I do slightly. I am like what's considered like I think like a zillennial.
Oh, is that like a zennial? Yeah, you're
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All
So
right.
I'm like that cusper or whatever because I'm
Okay.
98. So I'm
Okay.
like literally right in like the cusp, which is like I very much more identify with the millennials.
We'll take you. We'll take you.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
please
I don't
accept
speak
me.
for all of us, but I'll take you. I'm
Yeah,
a
I'm like,
proud millennial.
yeah, I'm
Um,
like, please accept me.
I think we're pretty cool. But with that said, so you have no idea who my next guest is going to be. You don't know if they're going to be a mom, a dad, a birth worker, what their experience is, nothing. But you called Quiet Connection today and they weren't here to answer. They weren't here to answer the call. So you have to leave them a message.
Oh
And you
gosh.
can literally interpret that in whatever way you want. It doesn't have to be profound. It just
Right.
however you feel like leaving a message for them. The woo woo part comes in where you have to listen to the episode before yours to get your message. And I want to see, like, I'm going to be checking back in with guests and be like, hey, did that message hit or was that a total miss? Like,
Right.
right? Like,
I
I
love
want to
it.
see if the universe is aligning us.
Do
But
I hear the one first or do I just like go first?
no. So when the episodes come out in season 7,
Oh, then you
you'll
hear it.
then you
Okay.
hear it. Yeah,
Oh
it's a waiting
gosh.
game. It's a
It's a
waiting game.
waiting game. Oh
So, yeah,
gosh.
you don't know who my next guest is. I actually don't even remember who my next guest is. I have to look at my list. Uh, but you gotta leave them a message. What
Okay.
message would you like to leave
Hmm.
them?
Got it. I feel like the message that is just like always like I feel like is like my message that I give to like anybody, I guess like in my realm or anything is just like just be yourself and just another thing is why not? That's my big question always to myself is like why not? Why
Yeah.
I I at 9 months postpartum started a nonprofit because I was like, "You know what? Why not?"
Why not?
Like and so I'm like, I think that yeah, be yourself and always ask yourself, "Why not? Why not me?"
I love it. I love it. I'll tell you, I never get the same answer twice, which is one of the reasons I love it. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see if that you're gonna have to hold on. You're gonna have to
I
wait and
know.
see what
Oh,
your
I'm
message
excited.
is. Oh my goodness. Lainey, I needed your energy. I now am aware that it is the afternoon. I
Right.
now feel like I can function until my husband gets home from work. So
Oh,
thank
I
you.
know.
I also
Mine just texted me he's on his way. I was like, "Oh, yes.
Whew,
Thank God."
oh god, I
He
still have
got
a
off
couple more
early.
hours. Oh my god. Um, I also just am so thankful for the work that you're doing and for even educating me on things that were just numbers for me and now they're
Yeah.
real. And
Yeah,
I
they're real
appreciate
people.
that. They are real people and they're
Mhm.
real experiences and it's a
Mhm.
reminder to myself that for as long as I've been doing this, there's still things I don't know, still things I need to
Yeah.
learn.
I
So
love
thank
that.
you for what you're doing and thank you for sharing space with me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Lainey's journey reminds us that the right to choose how and where we give birth is deeply personal. If you want to learn more about Lainey and Peach State Birth Coalition, check the show notes to find links to her website and Instagram account. Make sure you're following Quiet Connection on all social media for more updates. And if you have a story you'd like to share, whether on the podcast or as a written feature, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out through my website, Quiet Connection Podcast. Hey, it's Chelsea. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in and being a part of the Quiet Connection community. Did you know that you can support me and gain exclusive perks by subscribing to my Patreon account? By becoming a subscriber, you'll get access to bonus episodes, ad-free listening, exclusive chats, and even monthly goodies in the mail handmade by me. Your support helps me continue creating high-quality content and ensures that we keep spreading awareness and ending the stigma surrounding perinatal mood and anxiety disorders and so much more. Head on over to Patreon, search Quiet Connection Podcast, and join the community of listeners who are helping me make this podcast the best it can be.